pistil interaction, and the other one is double fertilization. Students, you all know that after pollination, the pollen grains they land on the stigma. Here in this diagram, I have shown an LS of pistil showing the path of pollen tube. Students, this diagram is very often asked in exam. So when the pollen grain has landed on the stigma of a flower, here I have drawn the pistil or the carpel, or simply the female reproductive part of a flower. So when the pollen grain has fallen on the stigma, whether the pollinate or not, it will depend whether the possible with the pistil or not. If the right type of pollen grain or the compatible type of pollen grain has landed on the stigma, then the pollen tube will come out, or we say germination of pollen grain has taken place. Now here on the stigma I have shown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pollen grains, and all the 5 pollen grains have germinated. That means the pollen tubes have originated, and in one of the pollen grain I have drawn a long pollen tube reaching up to the ovule. So there is a continuous dialogue between the pollen grain and the stigma whether the pollen tube must emerge or not. And after the dialogue is over, when the pollen grain is of the right type, the pollen tube will come out. Now here in this diagram I have shown the path that is followed by the pollen tube. So let me label. This is the pollen grain. This is the pollen tube coming out. So this is the pollen tube. This broad part is the style. In order to accommodate this diagram, the style is drawn so thick. This bulging part is the ovary. You all know this diagram. Inside the ovary we have this structure called the ovule, and within the ovule this structure is the female gametophyte or embryo sac. I hope you all know these structures. I have talked about the structures in my previous videos. Now student, this pollen tube will make its way all through the style, all through the ovary, and will reach up to the ovule. Now you know that there is an opening in the ovule here where the integument is absent. I hope you remember this opening is called the micropyle. So through this opening the pollen tube will enter the ovule. Now here I have drawn 3 dots. Can you find, students? 3 dots. What is this 3? The one which is leading, this is nothing but the nucleus of the vegetative cell. So this is vegetative nucleus. You know, vegetative nucleus is also called tube nucleus because it helps in the formation of the pollen tube. So it's called tube nucleus. And following this tube nucleus we have 2 male gametes. So these two are the male gametes. I would like to recollect, students, that when the pollen grains fall on the stigma, the pollen grain may be of 2 cell stage in 60% of the angiosperm, 1 vegetative cell, 1 generative cell, and while forming the pollen tube, in those cases the generative cell divides once more by mitosis and forms 2 male gametes. So here are the 2 male gametes. So because in 40% of the angiosperms the pollen grains are shared in 3 cell stage, in that case the division is not required, but when the pollen grains are shared at 2 cell stage, the division of the generative cell to give rise to 2 male gametes is required. So this is the path that is followed by the pollen tube once the pollen grain germinates on the stigma of a compatible pistil. Now I will show you the double fertilization. Students, here I have shown you the diagram of an embryo sac. And if you recollect that within an embryo sac, the embryo sac of a typical angiosperm is 7-celled, 8-nucleate condition. If I label once again, we have two ends of the embryo sac. One is called the chalazal end, the other end is called micropylar end. Yes or no? One is chalazal end, one is the micropylar end. At the chalazal end, we have three cells which are collectively called as antipodals or antipodal cells. And at the micropylar end, we have three cells. Two cells, these two are the synergids, and this one is the egg cell, and this big cell is the central cell. Within the central cell, we have two nuclei, also called polar nuclei. I have talked about these details in the structure of the female gametophyte or the embryo sac. Now students, this is a pollen tube coming, okay? This is a pollen tube. The pollen tube is coming all through the tissues of the style and then the ovary, and it enters into the ovule through the opening called the micropyle. Yes and no? But the pollen tube can enter the ovule by three means. One is the porogamy. In majority of the plants in flowers, the entry of the pollen tube is through the micropyle. Here I have drawn here through the micropyle. So that is called porogamy. So here we are really dealing with porogamy. But in certain flowers, pollen tube may enter through the chalazal end from the chalaza. That is called chalazogamy. And in certain plants, the pollen tube can enter by dissolving the tissues of the integuments. That is called the mesogamy. Here we are dealing with porogamy. So at the micropylar end, I have drawn two dots here. Okay, what happened to the another dots? Because that is the vegetative nucleus or the tube nucleus. Its duty is to guide the male gametes. Once the male gametes reach up to the micropyle, the tube nucleus degenerates. This is one important question. Okay. Now these two male gametes. Now look very careful. These two synergids, they have certain structures, certain thickenings here at the end. Yes or no? These thickenings are called filiform apparatus. They are called filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus guide the entry of pollen tube into the embryo sac. Guide the entry of pollen tube and helps in the collection of the male gametes. These two are male gametes. They help in the collection of the male gametes and guide the entry of the pollen tube into the embryo sac. Very important question that is asked from this filiform apparatus. Now of these two male gametes, one of the male gamete, it will be collected by this filiform apparatus. One of the male gamete will enter one of the synergids. Of the two synergids, it will enter one of the synergids. Let me show you the path. Let us say that this male gamete entered into this, collected by this filiform apparatus, entered into the synergid, and it will come right up to the nucleus of the egg cell. It will enter into the egg cell and it will come and fuse with the egg cell, with the nucleus of the egg cell. Okay, so this is one fertilization, means one of the male gamete is coming and fusing with the nucleus of the egg cell. What will happen to the another male gamete? This male gamete will also enter through one of the synergid come out into the central cell, move towards this polar nuclei, and then fuse with the polar nuclei. So this is fertilization number 1. This is fertilization number 2. Yes and no? Let me repeat, students. Of the 2 male gametes, one male gamete, I have written here the statement, one male gamete will fuse with the egg cell, that is called syngamy. The other male gamete will fuse with the 2 polar nuclei, that is called triple fusion. Why it is called triple fusion? Because already there were 2 nuclei, one more, so double nuclei, one more nuclei has come from the male gamete, so 3 nuclei. 3 nuclei are fusing together, hence it is called triple fusion. And the fusion of the male gamete with the egg cell, that is called syngamy. So since 2 fertilizations are taking place at the same time, it is called double fertilization. I hope it is clear. Now what happens after the fertilization is over? After fertilization is over, the egg cell will now become the zygote, the single diploid cell. It will become zygote, and zygote is obviously here diploid in structure, because the egg cell is haploid, the male gamete is haploid, haploid plus haploid, they become diploid. What will happen to the polar nuclei? Inside there was polar nuclei, 2 polar nuclei. After fertilization, the polar nuclei will become primary endosperm nucleus, or PEN. It will become primary endosperm nucleus. A very important question, since it was N plus N in the beginning, and now one more N from the male gamete has come, so its ploidy will be 3N.